What's going on? What's going on? Brutus here, bringing you another OneHive war recap video where we randomly match Pinoy Bandidos, who I believe are in the CWL Premier. Very good clan. Breakdown for this was not an equal breakdown, but we did come away with the victory, 113 to 111. Total destruction also favored us, and the breakdown was OneHive had 7, 13, and then the rest to fill for a 40v40. And then Pinoy had 6, and there's the disadvantage there. 6, 14, and the rest to fill. So OneHive did have an extra Town Hall 11. How did we do? Well, Pinoy Bandidos were able to double all the Town Hall 11s, and then they left all but 2 Town Hall 10s cleared, and then of course the rest was cleared. For OneHive, the top 6 Town Hall 11s were doubled, and then of course cleared all the Town Hall 10s except 1. But remember, there's that Town Hall 11 disadvantage, which is why that's where that extra star comes in for us to go ahead by 2 stars. Great job, the Pinoy Bandidos. Let's take a look a little bit of just some details here. There were, for the defenses here, this is really where I think the war came down to. Although they did have another 11 to combat, but I think they took a total of 19 attempts on the 11s. And then OneHive needed a total of 13 attempts. However, 2 additional ones were 11v11 attempts towards the end of the war when it was already in hand. But that's where the extra 2 attacks on this that you might see. For 10 on 10, Pinoy got 1 10v10 3-star, and OneHive got 3 of them. And let's start with what those are. Let's first start with Pero on 10v11. This base was something else, man. This base right here, I believe, took several attempts to double, and I think there was some stoned entries, and finally they settled on a quad or go for or 4 golem entry. I really like the decision to just, because we're seeing a lot of this base meta with making the queen charge aspect of trying to double 10v11 kind of takes that away. It makes it a little bit tricky or difficult. So it's basically there to mess with your walk, especially your funnel with your bowlers, because they can't reach beyond 2 tiles. So bring in the wall breakers to break that open, get a nice wide funnel, as well as get a ton of percentage. And with the 4 golems on the map, it's basically 4 targets for that eagle to lock onto. Yeah, it being activated quite soon in the raid. But basically the bowlers and the rage everywhere, and the tankage for that queen is basically to get as much percent as you can, and then a bum rush right here is where the story's going to be. It's get really dicey. There was a few attempts they got so close to this area, and then they just petered out, which is, you know, it's the name of the game. I mean, Town Hall 11s, they're tough, man. Really tough. But finally able to bring this one down. Really nice job. I thought it was quite unique with how to combat some bases like this with that meta shift, bringing the wall breakers to just erase what those outside rings might be, and then also the fact that you a 4 golem, which is not something you see all the time at this level. So nice job, Pero. That brought that one down late in the game, and it was needed. Well, that'll do it for this one. Then let's finish up this recap with the 10 on 10 game. So we'll scroll down a little bit down to 17 to get that started. And that's a Toma. I mean, come on now. It's like, it's not a real war cap unless we show a Toma. But nevertheless, Toma's coming in here with Skeleton Lalo. Obviously the queen section being raged with the skeleton to take that out. Only level 1 infernals, but all the point defense is maxed out. Interesting. Wait for that. I believe this base was really familiar as well. But uses the BK to tank for the queen, opens up the wall that lets the queen into this compartment and gets access to that infernal tower, gets it out with the ability pop, and possibly more with the wizard and X bow if she can make her way around there in time. But those bows do hit pretty hard. And then that leaves, with the sweeper blowing this way, a nice little alleyway to Lalo, a base that's trying to be anti-Lalo, with 4 air defenses still in the air, but they're all close proximity to each other, and you're not going to fight the sweeper coming from this angle. Well, I take that back. You're going to fight it here, but you have all this haste that's zooming right by it. So you can see how he does that. We'll zoom in a little bit so you can appreciate how he takes care of this queen with the skeletons down, being raged. Get the queen. There's no splash damage by it, or it's taken out by now. And watch how much value he gets from these skeletons. In the back end, a couple of loons for the back end with the haste dedicated to them to ensure that they get over to that only threat remaining, which is the Infernal Tower. Does get that down. But look, these Larrys are still doing work on the CC. Really, really nice. Skeleton Lalo Atoma. I thought it was pretty. Go to ×2, nothing but cleanup at this point. As these last few loons, as this X-Bow is just like, no, no. But eventually it does go down, and there's enough cleanup on the back end and enough time on the clock that he can pull down this 3. Nice job. We'll go to ×4 because I do have 2 others to show you. The next one is really pretty. The next one I had to double check before showing it. It was fresh. And it's ASAP Aussie. This was just bananas. Queen walk, which is something ASAP likes. That's his thing, man. But this is the story. Look at the funnel. Okay? Look at the funnel. I saw this and I was just like, that is so pretty. Goblins for the win. Using the goblins to take out a high hit point storage, which creates a funnel for the queen. Walk to commence and head towards the right. And they're still going. That was so clever. Really good scouting on that for this walk ASAP. Checking the lines of the splash damage, the mortar being just outside of range, and bringing just enough goblins to ensure that that went down. Baby Dragon to end the other side of the funnel. Wall breakers in. No doubt she'll get the queen and the CC lure. So it's a really late Lalo start. And does have to fight the sweeper a little bit from this angle. And you'll from coming there, but he's going to start the Lalo on this air defense. Rage ability, rage, and then will use the ability when she gets in a little closer here. Right now, he's just basically taking away as much defenses as that pose a threat to the Lalo. And then, of course, the poison for the CC. 2 witches coming out. These bases were, the CCs were quite inventive, you know. It wasn't all the Hound Loon meta that you see all the time. So really nice variety. There's that haste to get the Infernal Tower. Ability pop, queen, rage for the queen so that she stays up and can get the back end section around here, which she eats through that wall. Meanwhile, he's got a tank, Hound leading the way to get through this section right here, but then brings a heal for this aspect so that he can have enough healthy loons pushing through, because remember, we still got that queen that is going to work on the right side, and then he adjusts on the fly by using a back-end very late BK by himself with 1 jump to get to that back-end Infernal Tower. I mean, it's just, this was my favorite Town Hall 10 raid of the war. Go to ×2. Nice job, man. I mean, I really like that attack. And then to close this out, we'll go down to Chris on number 20. With 30 loons and 5 haste. Somewhat of a similar shell that we saw with Atoma, except obviously the air defenses are in different positions. 2 wizards on the left side. Starts that funnel for the BK. Wall breakers in. BK is tanking for the point defense of the queen. She'll get the Infernal Tower. And most likely the Wizard Tower as well, which only help his Lalo portion of the raid. And then here comes a Hound from the CC, which locks onto the BK. He uses the ability right away because he doesn't. You don't want the Hound to bust at this point. So hopefully with that queen working on this Hound, she can die, and that's a great thing. And with the Hound dying way off to the left, it's really a non-factor for the cleanup. He goes ahead and just starts the Lalo portion of this. Haste to push through that first Infernal Tower. And then they circle the base, clockwise motion. No point defense at this section, except for the core with those bows. But he has enough tankage pushing through to the left with only 1 air defense left. And he still has a heal in the bag so that when this tankage leaves, which he still has 1 Hound remaining, it's enough to push through to get to that top section. And you'll see how he does that. The only thing that was really a threat at this point was the cleanup, but he does have 5 minions that he starts to put down for that. And he has lava pups in the back end cleaning all ready for him. And hopefully this Hound doesn't pose an issue. But obviously it's a 3, so he does get it down. But, you know, that's basically it with the Hound in the CC and people asking why they do that. It's for reasons like this. The Hound trolls if you don't deal with it properly, if you pop it, and you don't deal with it cleanly, then you do a Lalo-based attack, the lava pups just erase all the cleanup attempts that you would have had. Or in this aspect, if you just ignore it and leave it in the middle, then you have all these lava pups at the end aggroed onto it, ruining your combative time. And then you have to deal with situations like this, where it's basically a lava pup fight towards the end with the Larrys coming in, but there's enough pups on the back end that win that fight. And that's the other reason why he brings 2 minions for the trash ring. And so he has enough here to, with 1 loon surviving, to ensure that he gets down this 3. But those are the reasons why it's common that we see a Hound loon or a Hound-based CC. So we'll back out of here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those raids. Nice job, the Pinoy Bandidos. Once again, it's Brutus reminding you, you got to be better than the double, and I'll check you next time.